I'm blessed to talk about the Reverend Alexander Crummell. He was born in 1819 and died in 1898. And he's probably better known outside the Episcopal Church than in it, because the great W.E.B. Du Bois, who was one of the founders of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, featured him in a chapter devoted exclusively to him in his classic work, The Souls of Black Folks. So I'm hoping that we'll get to know him better in his own church. He's important for at least three reasons. First of all, he's one of the pioneers of African-American ministry and leadership in the Episcopal Church. Against much opposition, he fought for the rights of African-Americans to be ordained, to lead churches, to have self-determination, to participate in diocesan conventions and so on. And all of the efforts that he made throughout the church, among his legacy is the Union of Black Episcopalians. The second thing that's really important is that he was a leader in the African-American community more broadly, and especially in terms of education. So he constantly supported African-American scholars like W.E.B. Du Bois. He founded the American Negro Academy as a support for them, and was very involved in the Black Freedom Movement, the predecessors to the Civil Rights Movement, both in what we call Pan-Africanism, which is all people of African descent should work together, and Black nationalism, which was really a movement for self-determination among African Americans. And if that wasn't enough, thirdly, he was a missionary to Africa for 20 years, and a Liberia in particular, and he strongly believed that African Americans were most qualified to win Africans to the Christian faith and to make for an indigenous church there. And he wrote about that and traveled extensively. So today, of course, Africa is the continent that has more Christians than any other. And he's one of the people that made that possible. But he's also one of the founders of the nation of Liberia, as he saw it for it to be a place that represented his ideals of Christian civilization. So just to give you kind of the highlights of his interesting life story. He was born to free parents in New York City, although his father had been a slave. And his family were fervent abolitionists. And so from the beginning, he's part of that struggle. He heard that the famous Southern slavery senator, John Calhoun, said that African Americans were not able to have philosophical understanding and so forth. And he said, well, I'm going to prove him wrong. So he went to very good schools in New York City and tried to get into college at a time when almost all the universities would not accept Black students. So he went to a school in New Hampshire that did, and a mob didn't want Black students there, and so they actually attacked the school and burned it to the ground while he was there. So then he had to finish his education at Oneida Institute in upstate New York. He, at that time, perceived a call to the priesthood, but he applied to General Seminary and they wouldn't accept him. He applied to be in the process in the Diocese of New York. They would not accept him, of course, because of his color. And so finally he went to Massachusetts, where they were willing to sponsor him. Yale University was willing to accept him for a couple of years of coursework, and he was ordained in the Diocese of Massachusetts, but assigned to a very difficult, poor, small parish in Rhode Island where he just could not move things forward. So he wanted to transfer to a larger church, and so he approached the Bishop of Philadelphia, a man called Onderdonk, good Dutch name, and he said, I'd like to, you have a lot of African Americans here, I'd like to have one of those parishes. And the bishop said, well, I'll let you in if you agree that no Black person or Black congregation will ever participate in our diocesan convention. And his famous words were, I want to quote him, he said, I will never enter your diocese under such terms. So here he is, a priest with no congregation, right? And so he goes to the United Kingdom to raise money lecturing for the abolitionist cause, and a number of prominent Church of England people really take a liking to him. The most important one was William Wilberforce, who led the long campaign to peacefully abolish slavery throughout the British Empire. And at their suggestion, he applied to Queen's College, Cambridge, and was admitted and became the first person from Africa, from African origin, to get a degree at Cambridge University in 1853. He then felt the call to to go on the mission field in Africa, to go to Liberia, which was then being colonized by former African-American slaves. And as I said, he just strongly believed that Black people were most suited to establish really strong and healthy churches in Africa. So he was there for 20 years, although he often came back to the United States to fundraise and to try to recruit missionaries. Things didn't go the way he hoped. Difficult political situation in Liberia, and he never was able to recruit enough missionaries. So in 1873, he felt basically driven out, and he returns to the United States. In 1875, he founded the Congregation of St. Luke's in Washington, D.C., which is still there. The congregation is alive and well, and the building that he eventually was able to construct is still being used. It's often called the Black Cathedral of the Episcopal Church. And he served there from 1875 until his retirement in 1894. And he made it not only a vibrant place of worship, but a place for Black empowerment, where people were encouraged to get an education to advance the cause of the African American people. These were really good years for him because he got to teach at Howard University in Washington, D.C., very prestigious, historically Black college. It's where Kamala Harris went. And he was very involved all across the nation in promoting Black education, political freedom, economic self-determination, and so forth. And that's where he met W.E. Du Bois and others, and became really a very highly regarded figure throughout the African-American community in the United States. So I really do recommend that people read Du Bois's chapter on him, because what Du Bois does so well is to show how tough it must have been, when you're constantly facing doubt, despair, and hatred. Racism can suck the soul out of anyone, but he overcame. He was steadfast, and because of that, I think we're all better off. So his feast in the Episcopal Church is on September 10, and I really hope that we will celebrate it more often with great joy and appreciation throughout the Episcopal Church.